Hey everyone, in this episode we're not going to be building any Landcruiser. Instead we're going to be building a weld table to weld bits of my Landcruiser on, which is going to go into this shed which I built. So for anyone tuning in for the first time, this is the definition of a shed built series. In the last episode you saw me attempt an alley airbox. The quality of the welds were honestly quite crap. I had a really average welding table, one that I found in Hard Rubbish, and it wasn't flat, and I just couldn't get comfortable on it. So the first thing that I'm going to change about my welding setup is the table. I looked at the commercially available tables and the price shocked me, quite frankly, and I think I can do a better job and it's going to be more fit for my purpose. Here's my design on CAD. I guess the main differences are that I put some extra slots in which I'll be able to use for jigs in the future. Maybe when I do some suspension bits, probably not in this build, but I don't really know what I'm going to use them for yet, but I think they will come in handy. So I did get them lasered into the top so I can attach jigs and fixtures. Have a look at this photo. I guess, there's not much in weld tables. This is sort of quite similar to commercially available ones. But I've done all the design myself, I've done all the dimensioning myself. For anyone who's just starting with CAD, this might be a really good first assembly to try. It's all flat pack, it's all relatively easy to design. There's no real complex geometry. So I guess I've sent it all to the laser cutter and I've got it all cut. So let's jump into the build video now. Got my welding table back from the laser cutter. So here's the top. Really stoked on the result. It came out really clean. So this is a 6mm top. And then the rest of the pieces, let me show you. So here are the rest of the pieces for it. I've gone 3mm for the rest. So these are going to be the sides and these are going to be my internal braces. And then I've got some feet for the legs that the blue bar attach onto there. It's really important for the surface to be flat, obviously, when I'm tacking this all up. So I've got the flattest part of my garage that I could find. I don't have anything else flatter at home. You can see along the straight edge here that it looks pretty good. So I think it's going to be all right and the table will be relatively straight. I anticipate that there'll be a little bit of flappy disking on some of these tabs. These slots here will correspond with these slots here and it should literally just slot together like a jigsaw. Everything that I've done has relief cuts on the internal corners. Okay, to help better explain all the little circles that I've cut out, I guess this is a typical corner. Let's just say the black line is exactly what I want to cut, so a nice 90-degree right angle. But typically lasers do undercut a little bit, so they follow that red line. So what I've done is I've cut that green line around, so I still get my square edge here and here. That's the sort of methodology that I use on all my corners, so I get nice square edges that can butt up against each other and it fits together like a jigsaw. So let's go ahead and weld this thing together now and yeah, have a look at the time lapse.
Calling to say
Couple hours later, there you have it. So my welding table is all welded up. I've just done stitch welds on all of it. I mean, if you're full passing all of it, it'd take a heap of time. Literally just stitch welds everywhere on each panel and then up in the corners as well. It feels really solid. I'm pretty pumped. So these are 3mm ribs. I guess the commercially available ones are generally 6mm ribs and it's into a 6mm top. So I guess one of the recommendations that the laser cutter gives you is you shouldn't cut slots in material thinner than itself. So I guess for a 6mm piece of material like the top, I should be cutting a 6mm slit, but I've actually cut 3mm slits to correspond with the edges of this, primarily to save costs, but also I just don't think that that 6mm ribs are actually required. So I've got a heap of 3mm ribs and I guess I've got this hole cut out and that's for access. For when I was welding it and also when I'm jigging and clamping down into these holes. I think having the ability to go through and have a bit of access is better. So I'm going for some bolt-on and bolt-off legs. That's just in case I want to move it sometime. So I've got a plate that I'll weld on here, and then I'm going to be able to bolt this plate on and off, and I'm just using some M10s. And yeah, so if I ever need to remove the legs to move it or move house or something like that, then I can do that. It is a bit of a pain when, you know, when things are all welded together. So I've literally only done it for that reason. You could definitely not do that if you're going to do one at home. So the reason the legs are bolting to this plate and not the top is because if I bolted it to the top, then there would be some holes that I wouldn't ever be able to access because the blue bar would be covering them. It's definitely going to be harder to make than just welding a piece of blue bar straight into here. But then if you can imagine, if the blue bar was in this corner, I couldn't access these three holes, these three holes, and then that hole there. So it does get a bit limiting. So at least this way, because of the holes that I've cut in the rib, I can actually access the bolts and the nuts. I guess now it's time to make the legs up. So I've also got these 125mm wheels from Machinery House, and I've got a laser cut plate to suit. So I should literally just be able to bolt it up to this plate, and then that'll be on the other end. So I've just got to put some blue bar in between. I'm using 50 by 50 by 3mm because I really want it to be rigid, and then I'll run some lengthways as well just to make it even more rigid.
I'm just calling to say I
Here's the finished product. I'm really happy with how it came out. It's always good when your laser cutting goes to plan, and it just slotted together like a jigsaw. So I really had no issues. You know, sometimes you forget to put stuff in, or the CAD, you know, is wrong, but I managed to get it right first go. So I am really happy about it. Full disclosure though, I didn't get these four holes quite right. I had to use a die grinder to make them fit. I didn't have the wheels at the time. I was just eyeballing it because they were in the post. So let's have a look at my weld table. So you can see here that all my keyways have worked beautifully. It literally just slot together like a jigsaw. And I've done a whole bunch of stitch welds. I actually stitch welded the ribs in first before I tackled the sides. And that's because the sides required a bit of massaging with a hammer. So I didn't want that to, you know, bring the top out of line. So I think that's the right thing to do. I'm not really sure, but it did turn out pretty flat. So I mean, for a home setup, this is exactly what you want. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's definitely within probably 0.5 millimeter. So that's good enough for me, and that's good enough for all the bits that I'll be making at home. And yeah, the other way, just in case you're wondering, and then the diagonal as well. It's pretty hard for me to demonstrate how solid it is on video, but I can assure you it's really solid. So the difference between mine and a commercial one is that I've gone for 3mm ribs, but I've gone for more 3mm ribs. And the commercial ones use 5 or 6mm ribs. When you think back to beam bending theory, the span length and then the height of the beam have far more bearing than the thickness of the beam. More ribs means less span, and that's going to be more solid than having fewer, thicker ribs, basically. As much as I'd love to turn this series into Engineer Explained, I just don't have the hours in the day. But if you're interested, go have a look at beam bending theory and the second moment of area. So the main difference between mine and a commercially available one, apart from the ribs, are these slots here. So I've got these slots 200mm apart. What's the advantage of that, you ask? Well, it means that I can use this whole weld table as basically a base plate for a jig, which means I don't have to go cutting them, and it's sort of a reusable jig if you like. So it's going to save me money, and it's going to save me time in the long run because I can just slot straight to this, and then I'll be able to clamp down straight into these holes. The only thing that I don't really know what to do about is the surface. So I've been using this for the last couple of days, and TIG welding doesn't seem to be a problem. But when I've been using it to do some MIG welding, the splatter gets onto the surface and it makes it look really bad. So, you know, it's got the original mill scale on it, and I've ground some tacks off it, and I know that's going to start rusting. So I really don't know what to do about the surface. I'm just going to leave it as is for the moment. If anyone has any suggestions about like a surface finish, let me know in the comments. That'd be great. So on the blue bar legs, I mean, I've left this front end open, and that's just because I like putting my legs under the table. So you could put an extra bit of blue bar in there, obviously, if you want it to be a bit more rigid and you think you're going to move it around a lot. Yeah, those are legs, pretty easy to manufacture. It's just 50 by 50 by 3mm blue bar. So that's my weld table. I really should have done it sooner to make my life easier. These tables retail for around $2,000 RRP, and I managed to do it in less than half of that. So if you guys are actually interested, give me a DM and I might be able to help you out with a welding table, a budget setup. I reckon my airbox would have come out a hell of a lot nicer if I'd done it sooner. So I suggest if you're setting up and getting into one of these projects, make sure you have a solid weld table before you start doing the bulk of your fabricating. I really should have done that, and I regret not doing it. So this is the first thing that I should have done, but I just tried to put it off. You'll see the difference in my results in the fuel tanks, which are coming up in the next few episodes. So I've actually got a bunch of stuff going on at the moment. I'm about to bolt in suspension, I'm doing the final plumbing on the engine, and I'm doing my fuel tanks, which you sort of see behind me as well. So I'm not quite sure what's going to be in the next video, whatever I get around to editing first, but there is a heap of stuff going on. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment, guys. I love reading them and responding to them. Thanks heaps.